Good morning, great morning, wonderful morning, spectacular morning, outstanding morning, magnificent morning, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious morning. Again, the beautiful reminder of choice that we all have. And what is that choice about? It's about thought, and that's all it's about. Matter of fact, it's the only choice you have, the only control you have, and that's over your thoughts. Really think about that for a moment. You don't really have a choice when it comes to things external to you. You have a choice with regards to the movement that's happening within you, within your kingdom of heaven. Now, why is that such a big deal? Well, because it has everything to do with changing the results of your life. Remember, as within, so without. The within is ceaselessly becoming the without. Your outer world is a reflection of what's happening in your inner world. As above, so below. I want you to notice the theme here. It's all rooted in a secret that a lot of people really don't know about, which is the secret that will help you to change everything in your life, every outcome, how much you earn, what you do for work, your lifestyle, relationships, all of it. And again, it all starts in the mind, your magnificent, marvelous, beautiful mind. And if you'll just use it, a lot of things will change. Now, what's beautiful is you have been using it. You've been here. You've been going through these study calls. And that I have to commend you for, because that's really awesome that you've been doing that. With that being said, this is just an emphasis, a reminder of the power that you have to change everything in your life. Now, what have we been studying? We've been studying this beautiful gem here, As a Man Thinketh, and Now from the Heart. If you don't have a copy of this, make sure you do get a copy of it. James Allen was a pioneer for this era. This book was written here in 1903. This one was written in 1904. And it's really beautiful how he wrote something to help people to see as within, so without. Matter of fact, he coined the phrase that I use frequently, seed, plant, blossom, fruit, as the fourfold order of the universe. Now, with that being said, as beautiful and as amazing this is, there are some things that we go through to help to give you a deeper understanding of this, to help you to see what's really in the way, which is some that we point out as we go through these paragraphs in these books. But with that being said, it's still an amazing piece of work, and it's highly recommended that you do have this part of your permanent library and that you do underline it, highlight it, memorize it, but most importantly, apply it. Remember, application, baby, that's where it's at. If you don't apply what's being shared here, it won't make an impact in your life or deliver change in your life. Now, now with that being said, in terms of all of this, the most important thing also as well is that you're present here in this moment, and also make sure that you have your goal card with you too as well. This beautiful card, which has a statement, a declaration about how your life's going to be. And if you don't have a goal card, let us know. Okay. All right. You ready? Ready to dive into this? Type in the comments. I'm ready if you're ready. And let's get into where we left off in this beautiful gem, As a Man Thinketh. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Boom. All right. Now here we're in chapter 5, the thought factor in achievement. Think about that, the thought factor in achievement. Now we went over this a little bit yesterday, but we're going to go over it again. All that a man achieves and all that he fails to achieve is the direct result of his thoughts. All that you achieve and all that you fail to achieve is the direct result of your own thoughts. Now, let's just sit in that for just a moment. Your achievements, how much you earn, what you do for work, where you go, all of it is the result of your own thoughts. And what do you have control over? Your thoughts. If you don't like the results that are there, you can change the results by changing your thoughts. Remember, thoughts are things. Thoughts are energy. Thoughts are the magnets that attract to us the very things that we think. Now, in a justly ordered universe where loss and equipoise would mean total destruction, individual responsibility must be absolute. Now, what's he talking about here? He's talking about you in your life with regards to what's happening in your world is something that you must claim responsibility for. Now, there's something that I do share that might sound like a contradiction as I'm saying that, because one of the things that I share with you, and it's been said many, many times, is that the program in you is what's causing the problem. And that in most cases, you didn't make that program. And that program consists of what you believe to be true and the habits you have. Now, here, it might be sounding that I'm saying, hey, you have to take responsibility for that. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is you need to claim individual responsibility for what continues in your mind. Now, think about that. There may be beliefs, there may be habits that were fed to you unknowingly, that were impressed upon you and got into your subconscious mind that you didn't create. But when you are aware of what that is, you are the one that has to own it and then change it if you don't like it. Now, a man's weakness and strength, purity or impurity, are his own. Your weakness, your strength, your purity or impurity are your own and no other man's, no one else's. What's happening within you subconsciously in your subconscious mind is all yours. But here again, I want to emphasize it's not you if it's anything that's rooted in negativity, lack, limitation, because that's not anything you would intentionally invite into your life. But with that being said, it's still in you, and you're the one that has to take responsibility to change it. Now, here he says something that I needed to be clear about yesterday, which is if you look at it on the surface with what he's saying, it's not good. And he says they are brought about by himself and not by another. Now, here, I'm certain that if James Allen and I were to have a conversation about our true self, he would not say this. But where he's coming from here is that it comes into us in our individuality, which then is held, and whatever's held ultimately gets impressed upon the subconscious mind. Remember, your subconscious mind doesn't have the ability to reject anything, it must accept. So what he's saying is that it happens within this inner sphere that we call your mind. With that being said, the negativity is not brought up by ourselves. It's brought up through a process that's within ourselves. Now, again, all you have to think about is negativity. All negativity is subconscious. We don't intentionally say, oh, I'm going to live with negativity today. I'm going to live with lack and limitation. I'm going to decide to invite into myself disbelief that I'm not capable of doing something. See, that's not what happens. That's not what works. And it's not something that is anything that's rooted in our true self. And it is our self, our real self, that's able to make that change. So again, him saying that are brought about himself is really a reference to what's happening within and are not by another, he says. And they can only be altered by himself, never by another. So what he's saying is, that this inner world, whatever's happening, no matter what is happening in your inner world, is something that your real self can change. And how do you change it? With the powers that you have, your dissatisfaction, your agency. Your agency is your ability to act, to be acted upon, to originate ideas, to accept, reject ideas. And then you also have these higher mental faculties, these tools of your mind. And what are those tools? Your imagination, perception, reason, will, memory, intuition, all of which are there for one specific reason, and that is to create. See, that reveals that you are a magnificent creator. And this was shared beautifully in There's No Such Thing as Self-Sabotage in this beautiful book, which is something we highly recommend that you have, make a permanent part of your library. This is a liberator. The point being, though, with regards to this is you have a mind. You have a conscious mind, you have a subconscious mind. The conscious mind is the thinking mind. You can think what you please. If to think is to form, you can form what you please. You yourself, being a magnificent creator, can shape and mold what's been planted in your heart. You can plant whatever seeds you want to plant there, whether they be of something of a really grand nature or something that's what we call modest. It can be whatever you want it to be. You want to change how much you earn? You got to change how you're thinking. You got to change your relationship with money inside. Think about that. The most important work that you could do when it comes to changing how much you earn is shifting how you're thinking, not what you're doing. I mean, think about how many of us, we have a lot of knowledge about what to do, but then we don't do it. Why? Because the proper changes have not been made internally. You know, how many people take courses about being successful in this area, that area, about even earning money? They take these courses, they go to these seminars, they go to these webinars, they have these books, they read the books that come from people who are highly successful. They've actually done it. But you know what the percentage of people who actually deliver those outcomes is when it comes to all of those? It's very, very small. Why? Because they don't share what I'm sharing with you. They talk about the mechanics, the strategies, not understanding that it was the mindset behind how they were thinking that delivered them to actually make that strategy. See, it's the inner work that needs to be strengthened. And with all of this information that we're sharing, and you've heard me say this many times, okay, here I'm sharing this knowledge, this information. Remember, knowledge, information has no power in and of itself. The only way that it has power is when it's used. And see, that's where guidance and repetition comes into play. That's how both Dolly and I have been able to create the things that we've created to help other people to do this. Now, before we go further, I went a little bit over with regards to sharing with those people who are watching this live stream that if you're connecting with this and love what you're feeling here and would love to tap into more of this and watch the remainder of these live calls and also access the replays, then do yourself a favor and go to elevitality.com and register for Master Your Mind. You'll thank yourself later. And if you want help with implementing this, let's have another discussion because we have something for you to help you to do that in a beautiful way. Now let's go back to this.